about a week ago, I was driving my son to school. My son Finn is 7, and as usual, we were late, and I was weaving in and out of traffic, trying to get there on time to ensure that he would not get a late notice and have to get a hall pass. So as I'm going in and out of traffic, Finn was sitting in the back of the car eating his second breakfast of the day, as is his wont, and as we got closer to the school and he was munching away on cereal and reading comic books in the car, he was, as usual, if you have kids, I'm sure you recognize this, spewing forth an almost non-stop stream of questions, comments, and whatever came to his head. At one point, he asked me a very specific question that made me stop for a moment. He said, "Daddy, do sharks talk to each other?" This is 7:45 in the morning and I'm not fully caffeinated. I just want to point that out. Nor am I a marine biologist. So it was a challenging question, and I probably responded gruffly and said something to the effect of, "I don't know, Finn. Maybe, probably, most animals talk to one another. Who knows?" And then went on about trying to get him to school. What was interesting about that moment is that I kind of forgot about it in the next couple hours, but that question stayed with me. And it kept bubbling up to my head later in the day when I was at work, sitting at my desk. But I did something different in this case. Normally, when we have a question like this, when we have this knowledge gap that kind of gets our interest, most of us do the same thing. We look it up online. I didn't. I decided, sort of almost subconsciously, that I wasn't going to do that in this particular instance. And what began to happen was fascinating. And once I realized it was happening, I continued to do it. So by the way, I still don't know, so please don't take out your smartphone. If your finger's feeling itchy and you're going to look it up, don't tell me, because I still have no idea. So what I began to think about was, for some reason, bees. I thought, well, bees are insects, and yet they communicate to other bees through these dances in the hive. So clearly bees communicate with one another, so therefore sharks must too. I thought about whales, how they sing songs for hours and it travels through miles and miles of ocean. So sharks must communicate too. What happened to me was that because I didn't know, my curiosity was given full rein to just begin exploring all these different connections, all these different potential scenarios and potential answers, and connecting heretofore unconnected ideas. One of which was a red cardinal came and landed at our bird feeder. And of course, most people are thinking, what a beautiful red cardinal. I was thinking about sharks, because the cardinal was singing, communicating, and I thought, I wonder if sharks do that in some way. Do they court one another? Do they? So all of this is to say that that simple question that my son asked, which I still do not know the answer to, left me in a state of intense ambiguity. And it is in this ambiguity that curiosity really takes flight. And it's where curiosity is nurtured and fostered. And so part of what my work has explored is how the digital medium may be shortcutting our ability to live in that state of ambiguity, that state literally of not knowingness, which I think is an essential place to be. Because through that state, I became interested in all these other things. So not only does curiosity sort of fulfill us in that way and drive us to learn more, but I also found that I was more fulfilled just as a human being. I was more interested in things. When I usually see the cardinals, I think, boy, I hope they don't eat all the birdseed because I don't want to spend any more money on more birdseed. But this time I'm thinking about animal communication, and I'm thinking differently about the world and my relation to it. And that's a very enriching, fulfilling feeling. And it's quotidian, and it happens.